Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stella Nova Constellation. I'm your host, DarrellEXK. It is Wednesday of October 15th, and I'll be doing a second stream tonight for Legends EA for Pokemon. But that'll be, of course, on, midnight. So, second stream midnight. But for now, let's continue with Ace Attorney. We're starting the trial for episode 4. I was really happy to see Edgeworth again, but Mai got kidnapped for the 19th time in a row, aka 3. And now we gotta get this guy not guilty verdict to save her. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? Can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Yeah, we must get a complete acquittal today. I know. But I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Oh. It's him. This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired? Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Hey, when Hollow Knight? Hollow Knights are Mondays. Wednesday is usually the Ace Attorney day. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Yeah, no worries, we will get back on Hollow Knight. I want to say every Monday, but I'll have to see how long the new Pokemon game takes. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win today's contest, if you please. Wait. Rude. The kidnapper sent me a present. Mr. Lawyer, dude? Who was that? No one. I'm gonna do it for you, so forget you heard anything. Dude. Did your nose just get longer? Calling me a liar? Where's the plaintiff? Court is now in session for the trial of Matt and Guard. For the prosecution and defense ready. The defense is ready, Your Honor. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor! Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. You must tell me something. Please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? Shot? Somehow, I think this is that present that I was talking about. His present. Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at this moment. If she were to disappear, it would be your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have the answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Phew. I thought he'd show up. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready. Naturally. Man, he's bad. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. What is it with the Von Karma's getting shot in the shoulder? Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Ungard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. Oh boy. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring in Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Oh boy. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the President. For now. For now? After this trial is over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe? Prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Hold on. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. We want to explore the various facets of this case. We'll start with that. You ready, Phoenix? This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be if Edgeworth my opponent. The answer you were struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Fair facts of the case. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Cordio, was found dead in this hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room. Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to the room, sir. See, Mr. Wright, begin your cross-examination. Alright, let's get this going on. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. Ceremony started at 6 p.m. and around 8 p.m., and there was a short break. The special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Let's continue for testimony, detective. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Ungard's manager. She's a pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. Wonder if she will grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Ungard. After visiting him in his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see. That's when she found the victim's body. I'm already fucking up. Let's go. The cause of death. Wasn't that because Mr. Cordio was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so blunt as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, the real pro's attention would have been drawn here to this bandana. Banana. His bandana, sir. The thing that's wrapped around tightly around his neck, sir. Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Then what about the knife? It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Oh, now we get the autopsy report, okay. And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Gem Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. We couldn't find it anywhere else in the scene of the crime. Oh, and how about this theory? Fan really wanted to get the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints in the guitar cases are the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. So much for my theory, then. Oh, now we get the guitar taste, okay. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gaylord Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The Bribed guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Concordia, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. The guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right, pal. So it really nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to the next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt and guard? Because there was a reason to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well. Detective Gunchu, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. It's a good thing I didn't put any witness up there. Things up there. So I couldn't figure anything out. Matt and Guard and Concordia were huge rivals for each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's the motive enough for my book. As for evidence, there's the Gem Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja's costume and found in Matt and Guard's hammock. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant brought the knife for the crime, which makes this premeditated murder. I need him to say pal a lot more. I've always wanted to give him like a Seuss voice from Gravity Falls, but it's hard to mimic it, I guess. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife's used for stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Why are we getting all this evidence now? And here's this button. It was found on the defendant's clothes, was it? And this button is also covered in blood. Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? All this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just try with your usual pointless questions. Alright, let's get this shot out of the way. But in terms of popularity, Mr. On Guard won, didn't he not? Yeah. You know what's ironic, pal? Concordia was always the one stuck behind Mr. On Guard and everything. This year it seemed like he had finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Cordia lost the Grand Prix in the end. That is too bad. Must have been pretty downhearted after losing. I'm just saying, why would you kill second place? Wait just 1 second here. Mr. On Guard was beating Mr. Cordia in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective? It's not... Well, I guess you put it that way. Then yeah, they would have had no motive. Detective. I'm beginning to see why you were fired. Eh? No! Hey, you too, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I look forward to your pension negotiations. Oh! Now, detective. Let's continue with the testimony. No, I'm a poor pension too. Mister, don't you catch a break? Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. I'll talk about my pension later, sir. What about what I was saying? Hello? Anyone? Do you have any proof that the button belonged to the victim? Huh? What do you mean, pal? Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off the Gem Ninja's costume. Huh? But can't you just by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone else could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir. Alright, I knew I had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped and the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread and the costume with the thread and the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. It's a perfect match, pal. That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. That's my goat. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Cordy. And then we did a search on them all. So we found the button. So if the murderer was just someone nobody, they would have gotten lost. It was almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, Bo? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't necessarily think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Yeah, no wonder he got fired. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So is the defendant the owner of this knife, then? There's no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he had brought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't some pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either. Well, this is not good. The prosecution can prove that it was premeditated murder. We're done for. Phoenix. Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. A button covered in the victim's blood, and a knife with Ingard's fingerprints. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, she would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, for any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. Let's find the weakness in those testimony, no matter how small it be, okay, Phoenix? Alright, so... premeditated. I'm gonna go back to this one and read it some more carefully. Not fucking knife, not holding. Let's see. The button, the Hamakama. I'm gonna press this one again. Let me reread this one. It was found. Okay, it just said that they found it on him when they searched. They're just all over the place. Gatewater is engraved. So they say he was choked. Yes, Samurai. Jamming Ninja's button. Alright, well, I don't want to do that. I do want to do that. It's not... Yeah, let's do another rereading of this one. We know the thread matches. Found in the pocket. Over the knife. I'm agree with you. I don't know what I'm looking for. I keep pressing L into the RB. This is very funny. So we're saying he was strangled. I'm gonna say it has something to do with the crime photo. If not the crime photo, this, because it's just sitting there. Because it... Some water on the top of the lid for its fingerprint. Fuck, I pressed Y. So it's not gonna do you guys. Why would he take this though? It doesn't make sense. Give me 1 second. I need to look at something. Once it loads, of course. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and do that because I'm going to reload. You won and everything. The funny thing is, if you're behind everything, what reason would I have to kill you? So they're just all over the place. Even if you brought the knife, using the pocket knife doesn't fold like if you're walking on either. It's the button and the knife. Because if the buttons are... Because it looks like it... Looking by that appearance, it looks like it was an overhead stab. Let me snooze that. No, we don't need that. It's not the button. But it is the knife, I guess. Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument is that this is premeditated. The basis of your argument that this is a premeditated murder is simply that my client brought a knife to the friend. That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. I guess I wasn't reading that all that well. That's... okay. That's the argument that we were making? I was paying attention to that. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, my dumbass was reading brought, not bought. Okay. Okay. I think we're back now. Fuck off. Take a good look at this handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? It has Gatewater sealed as of the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name for some before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually the property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yeah, yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough to not realize this. But I didn't... oh. The question is... where did this knife come from? Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Cordy's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There's a knife and fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Mangard. Oh, well, there's a knife missing. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps is it a single knife? Yeah, it's gone there, alright. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Mattengard's knife was missing. Mr. Mattengard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he'd used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife to visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has been proven. This was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. I need to remember this game is for fucking lawyers. I'm still on that stupid bot argument. It seems Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. Murder weapon with fingerprints, and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix. The judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we enter something wrong here, that gavel will be ringing at the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright. You have something important necessary to present to this court? I do. There's one. One piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I'm giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling any of your usual bluffs here. That messes up its curtains for all of us. Oh my god! That is an entire bar! You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is the important evidence that you must show to the court? So, like, you see all this struggle, right? Why is that damn glass alone? This... ad break. I'm now going to hold off and wait for my viewers. I hate that what was causing me such struggles, the fact that it was a bought and not brought. That angers me, unironically. Other than that, just... I think from here on out, I think I should be able to just follow the case along. I just hate the fact that it took me that long to realize. Alright. Let's get back to it in 5 seconds. Ad break is over. We're back. I did not move. Hello again, everyone. This wine glass. This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken. His makeup is all over the floor. These are all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes. See your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you want to say? Oh, well, yes. It is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion? You don't need my opinion. Because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It is safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible. Mr. Wright? Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? Hell no. If I appear weak here, the trial is over. If I can look for my proof later. I love bluffing. I love bluffing. I love bluffing. For now, I should trust my instinct and point of certainty. They just might fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, give any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? Ooh, I haven't heard this in a while. You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass was escaping my notice? Then? Of course it has been thoroughly inspected. For fingerprints? Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews. What? Oh. That is why I said the person who discovered the body left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? If I found another trap. What did Maya do now? So, the thing is, right? This has nothing to do with Maya. This is the guy on trial. Maya has been kidnapped. And the only way to get her back is to get a not guilty verdict. Bruh, indeed. You're very right. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Cordier. But upon seeing this dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. But you just said made a lot of sense. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenarios and explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I've come to discover. Wait a second. Mr. Edgeworth, I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution is yet another witness we would like to hear the court from. Oh, I said that wrong. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? What is he thinking? He could win right now. Wendy, old bag. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation. Gotcha! I wonder what happened to that calm composure you had earlier. Oh, that's your boy. It's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report of her testimony. Who was under that helmet? It was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand. I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Please stop shooting me. Shush. I'm talking to my dear Edgy Witchy right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps. Yes, madam. No. Please, by all means interrupt her, please. Anyways, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say. All youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, which should I start with? The witness was on security detail the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearly Nuan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean, you were a friend of the victim? Now look, every Everyone is crazy over that Engard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in like a little child like him. Those two are the same age. I'm only interested in the real man, Juan Corey. Yeah, thank you, Phoenix. But those two are the same age. Anyways, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, AJ Pooh. Oh, please stop talking. Her voice is changing because I can't do old people that well. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway around the Shunner's room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know? Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. This woman aggravates you? Yeah, so true. That's when someone showed up. There was a man coming out of the poor Juan's room. He was on guard. Man guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. It's Mr. Ungard came from the victim's room. See? It has to be him. He's the murderer. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. 2 witnesses. Alright, let's do that. Miss Oldback, what was your post on that night? The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show, but I refused to help. I'll have you know, it's for that lead-headed samurai show. I even took out a few of the nails. Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on. Besides, that manager of the glasses seemed to be working hard without it working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door. Something you were interested in. And what was that? It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know? It's top secret between me and Juan. Ha, Neji Poo, of course. Miss Edgeworth, what is the thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to our testimony later. Looks like we shouldn't force it right now. And the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time. Oh? Then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Corey's room? I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count things. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quite keep track of things how old I really am. Damn, she wasn't lying. Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report. In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct? Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say it. This sort of information has been carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of that Juan's room, he was... Yes, he was. I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Francisca's whip right now. Honestly, if we had Francisca's whip, this would have been a good trial. Well, I guess I can tell you since he was such a bad boy anyways. You saw my client. Are you sure about that? Yeah, see? Really? Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person. But I guess it's a deja vu. I know better read through last year. Delve into this a bit further. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are. Really, something like that matters. but it does. Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jacket. Well, he was wearing that at the detention center too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men. Right. So, Mr. Wright, what was this testimony just now important? Well, was this testimony just now important, relevant anyway? Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you'd like to point out which part of that testimony is important. Did you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about her jacket be appended to the testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright. Witness, please. I don't know. I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must... Does this matter? Does it? Are you sure the defendant was wearing a racing jacket? What do you think? It's not like I've seen him in anything other than that horrible thing. I'm sure he was wearing it. She is so sure of herself that it's the point of self-absorption. She may be not remember things or be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us, really bad. But that's how the human mind is. That's what this is to jump off topic. She's straight onto a few interesting side topics this time too, see? That's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? That's because you're not the one who has to question her. I didn't want to do that again. I gotta press the B this time. Oh. Okay, so that is the only thing I got here. Are you sure? I was wearing a racing jacket. Do you think? It's not like I've seen him in anything other than that horrible thing. I'm sure he was wearing it. Where are we going with this? Oh, okay. What do we have here? Wait a second. But you're the one who found him. And that's not matters. Okay. Wearing his racing jacket. I'll just show. Wait a second. He was supposed to be in a show. No? Okay. He had to get ready, didn't he? Okay, so it's nothing to do with the Nickel Samurai. I'm going to die again. Hmm. Ah, because the button was found in his suit and not in his racing jacket. This old bag. What? Don't take money for old no reason. Do you know what this is? Ah, it's button number 2 on Jimmy Ninja's costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. Give it here. Give it here. If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. Okay. Wow, she really is a diehard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered in Mr. Ungod's body during a full body search. See? See? This button, beyond a doubt, this button proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was a rascal guard. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai combat pants. See? See? And it guards the nickel samurai. Witness. Now, it may not just be me, and I do have an active imagination. But just now, didn't you just say the defendant, Matt Guard, was wearing his usual racing jacket? Ah, I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on their wear. I wore the tiniest dress. Oh, we're not doing this again. We're not doing that again. That last bit was kind of funny. Now hold your tongue still for there just for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Ingard, the man, but Mr. Ingard, the nickel samurai. But when you think about it, we're not doing this again. We're not doing this again. They're really one and the same anyway. Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy Poo? Do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and grief me once for a change. Witness. Think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. I have 1 point of life, by the way. Guard. Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was the Nickel Samurai I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear the costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right at the time, you know. So he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Wong. But if he's wearing a costume, his fingerprints wouldn't. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Do you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Ah, youngins today. I told you, there's no way it could be anyone else. But how do you know that? Because I said so. And what I say so is the truth. At least she's just as delightful as witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may now cross-examine the witness. God, this woman's funny. Would you please get off your testimony? Watch your language, young man. What sort of tone is that to make it take an elder? My youthfulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you keep on barking at me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs. What? I'm not singing that. She's actually singing. Someone please help my players. Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this racket? Witness, I'll be good. I'll give you a piece of gum later if you be good and stick to the facts. Okay. Oh. You promise, right? Right. I'll be sending you the bill for the chewing gum at the office later date. Remind me to send you a thank you note, too, Edgeworth. Old chum. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said that he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not? Not too long ago. Let me ask you this. When you were a little itty bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What do you want to be when you grow up, for Snapper? My dream, huh? Well, I wanted to be a Judge Whacker. You're of the public court. So what? See? Look where you are now. You're not Judge Whacker, are you? Are you? Well, what I said earlier, who puts any weight into things like that? And now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Since when did court become theatrics over testimonies? All that matters is that man is inside the costume. Isn't that enough? No. And why would that be? That way no one can see his face, of course. But there's still no advantage from that I can see. In fact, you would think that the costume would make him stand out more. You are such an annoying child, you know that? You just disagree with everything I say. Isn't that what you're always doing to me? I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. But he was eating. Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at that post-intermission show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gestures thing. And that included the Jamie Ninja. Of course it included him. That's why when Engard came out of the Dear Wan's room, I didn't give it a second thought. I see. Well, anyway. So let me ask you one last time. The person you saw, was it really the Nickel Samurai? As showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning? Can I throw in Natalia? You don't even think too hard on this one. Huh? There's a contradiction in her testimony sitting in plain sight. The question is what that contradiction means for us. Let's figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. I'm stabbing, you say, right? I'm pretty sure that says strangle with a scarf. And it didn't matter. And it didn't matter. And it didn't matter. Oh, I said that wrong. And I'm stupid. And I'm stupid. Okay, it was just a knife. Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all. It's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case? You're gonna have to ask, because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving? If Mr. Ungard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped off the previous fingerprints on it of this knife right off. So, what I was getting at was still there, I just chose the wrong evidence. Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? He probably took off his gloves before he began the stabbing. And why would he just swim like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there's one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. the defendant went to his victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At the time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show, which is why he took his glove off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there are bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with this theory? Defendant went to the room, no intention of killing him. Up to this point, I don't see a problem, because, again, why would somebody who won and has always been better than number 2 want to kill number 2? I don't see it. But if you let Edgeworth's theory stand, then we're one very large step closer to a guilty verdict. Look at the court record again and take another shot at it. So there's a contradiction, but where? So, the contradiction, okay. We're still on the idea that he went into his room. And there is no, like, yes or no question. The answer is I had to click this. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling on about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Engard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. Because, yeah, there's a stab, you know, buttons missing, wine glass. No, hold on, yeah. Hold on. Because that is kind of the point. If you're going to... So, earlier testimony, the knife's gone. They took the knife from one room to another. There's no reason for you to bring a knife to another person's room. This knife. This was used by Mr. Engard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was, in fact, the killer, then he brought this knife to the room to visit Mr. Cordia. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant had no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means that the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. What order I say? Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? To frame? Just to frame my client, Mr. Ungard, of course. There is too much evidence around to say that this wasn't being framed. Aren't you first forcing the interpretation of just a little too hard on this one? But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume, and if that were true, there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Ugh. Witness. Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, haven't you, Pooh? Ugh. Witness. Did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying that you mixed up Mr. Ungard with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of the doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. Alright then. Who were we waiting for then? Let's top secret for anyone outside the security. I have a feeling you're waiting for Juan Cordia. Am I correct, witness? The way you think, you are a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? So Oldbag was waiting around for her in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Cordia. Maybe. Phoenix! Maybe the old bag was waiting around for that person. I think it's who Mia's hinting at. It's certainly possible. Miss Oldbag. You were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? The real killer! Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Miss Ungard's manager. But how would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? It seems that this is the latest rumor circulation, Your Honor. Oh, this is... Oh, wow, this is... Oh, I see. The judge seems to be really into the article. Can we call such a thing? Then this manager with the initials AA. Are you saying it's... Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Oh, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then. What, witness? What in the world have you... Watch out, Phoenix. Got a bad feeling about this one. Bad feeling. Got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course. But what for? Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how do we proceed from here? I really don't want to do this. However, I simply cannot let this point slide. I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify with this secret information. Get ready! This is going to take the wind out of your youngins. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this, really. It's not like we're 10 years old. Oh, brother. That Ungard is one evil man. He thought he could ruin the poor one by causing a huge scandal. But to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close to Luan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks. So I took action. Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me know it yet, okay? Brother, we have a tabloid. The defendant sent his manager. What a distasteful topic for this court. What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying? The truth is never pleasant? I don't think that... Is that it? I don't think I've heard of that one. Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We've looked into this matter and found that the truth this article proposes is, in fact, baseless gossip. But should this be true? And then this proves that the defendant did build ill will to the words of the victim. So this means I had to smash this woman once and for all. Now then, Mr. H. You may cross-examine the witness. Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited now. That's right. Unkar is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, you gotta burn old backs with fire. Dude, what? What saying is that? Time to fire up the edge burners and hit the highway to the danger zone. What? You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander. But it's true. That woman was getting intimate with poor Juan. Look, it says so right here, doesn't it? Manager to the Stars, Miss AA. Why did he just make a song reference? I mean, that's just localizers doing their thing, I guess. But the name of this magazine this came from is Gossipland. What? Are you saying this is gossip results suspected lies? What do you know? I suppose next you'll say swear to me that the news is 100% truth. Honestly, Sonny, you can't discriminate between the news and gossip. Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright. Discriminate? When did I do anything like that? Anyway, God would never get me to say touche. A scandal. What do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days? No. I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that much. Wow, Edgeworth thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. I guess. You don't have any proof that Miss Edgeworth did such a thing. You must be suffering from shock. The shock of hearing the truth. And now, since you're so much in shock, you can't do anything right. You're right, I can't do anything. But boy, do I wish I could do something about you. Alright then, Sonny, show me what you've got. Can you show me proof that Edgeworth didn't bear any ill towards Juan? I don't have anything to offer. See? Just as I thought. And you were lecturing me about saying things without proof. You've just given me a free to say whatever I want, whenever I want, silly boy. Me and my big mouth. That's the way cookie comes for you. Anyway. I have to come back to that one. So what did you mean by I took action? Like I already told you. I was lying in wait for close to... Like I already told you, I was lying in wait close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was gonna capture her and teach her a good lesson. Why did the old lady turn into a lipo for a sec? She just puts on her fucking astronaut helmet for some reason on whenever she feels like it. You were gonna teach her a good lesson? I was gonna make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. Like this! No, stop. Ew, you're right. Well, it was too bad that woman didn't come through that door that night. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro, yes, that's it. It's a secret! Even if you drill a hole into my brain, you won't ever find out. How in the world did that old bag get your secret information? If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got that secret information, you won't get to go home today. Poo, what are you doing? Help me! What do I have to do with this? Just do this for me, and you'll get your reward. I don't want your reward. You don't leave me much of a choice. The witness could have gotten information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me on this babbling. As long as we don't know where this information come from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on this line of questioning. Where did Obek get her information? There must be something he needs to figure it out. Sounds like another bit of gossip, doesn't it? But you can't ignore it either. It makes your client look bad either way. Well, I don't think I heard anything out of the ordinary just now. That's something we can catch her on. Yeah. When I find it and push the heck out of it. I think I know who it is, but I have, like, no life points left. It's hard to, like, go for it. So no one has some of the secret information, correct? If that's true, well then what do you know, Miss Oldbag? What? Why look at me like that? Stop that! Witness. I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it? You... I'm wrong? I'm wrong, no! That's another one. I'm dying because I have no points. I'm dying because I have no points. This trial's funny. Ad break is over. I can now continue. Alright. Okay, if it wasn't Lotta, then it was something else. I mean, because the answer is obvious Lotta, but if it's not Lotta herself, it's the one thing related to her. Tabloid article about the victim is on the case. Yeah, it's right in front of me. Okay, cool. It says that right there. The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported something? On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No. I said impressions. Then... everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless. Ah, that's it. That's the no. No, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of treasures to buy. Then you were the one who took Miss Hart's notes. I'm a huge fan of wands, that's why. That infamous, puffy-haired whippersnapper, she's working with an evil on guard. She said so herself. On guard. I mean, psych. I don't think she said that. She was so happy, smelling like a silly little duck. I was only checking what she had written. Sorry about that, somebody came in my room. Edgy Poo, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come up with supplies of cheese to match your vintage wine. Well, there's only a piece of paper. I suppose we can just overlook this just this once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? No! If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you wide-knowing brat? I saved these people from that lonely, terrible, lonely trash can, that's all. You're lying. Oh my god, he said, oh my god. You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note was the only thing you stole that night. The fucking camera that it was with. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? Camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, my sweetie 1600 camera disappeared on me. What? Why? What? Witness? What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it is only logical that you have the camera too. Let's see you find me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for? Why do you have it on you? Why do you have it on you? What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I still fall in love, and I still borrow things from people. I think your definition of borrow is a little off. I saw the woman's business card, and that's what I noticed it said. Slime bag celebrity photographer extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I knew what sort of picture she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. Is it? Is it? Bailiff? Check this camera's photos. Hurry. We must examine them at once. Bailiff? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please refer it to the court. Yeah, that's Steel Samurai, right? Nickel Samurai, my bad. This is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you, this is that guy I saw. This proves the witness was not lying about earlier with the matter. Yeah, that's fine. What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Strangard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that's the case, then this Nickel Samurai is the defendant. How did that come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We've examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree this photo is decisive? Do you agree this photo is decisive evidence against your client? If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. Can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Anyways, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Well... I have to find something wrong with this photo. Can't let the chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyways? It's all out of focus. Why can't you take a good shot? So when it counts. No then. Let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange? For one, why is she on the floor? To me, it looks like the costume is not on properly. I'd like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And? What does that mean? The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. Engard. What is the meaning of this? I wonder if you can... I wonder if you would care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of this Hakama. His socks. You can see his socks. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding up his Hakama just to walk. There is only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself. As if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all. Uh-oh. Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt Engard, then everything this prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it'd come to this. Did you? What? Right. That's something I want to ask you. I think you've proven the person inside this costume is not Matt Engard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who was the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edward's attitude, don't you think? Yeah. Why is he so calm? Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who was the person in this photograph? I know who it is. It's you, the framer. Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, there's none other than this woman. And why would you say that must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short. Who is the murderer? How can you say, well, for one, she's short. Oh, that's a good one. And she can freely move in and out of Mr. Engard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Engard that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to... Hold on. Sorry, people just keep coming into my room today. It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Engard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon. Why don't you just say it as what you want, right? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Cordia. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Order. 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 Looks like this trial had a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as witness.
Hey, Dr. Madison.
It means the trial... Oh, I'm sorry. Again, people keep coming in my room. It means the trial will go on for another day. One more day. Ah. If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya... No, then. We shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. No. Please, Your Honor. Continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony. She is not... Hold it. I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue today's trial. Okay, one more time. But cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Tisk tisk. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. What do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Mr. Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man? Somehow, I knew there was no way Miss Edgeworth overlooked Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. Court is adjourned. Alright. Give me a couple of seconds. I need to go check something. Okay. I am now no more distractions. Surely, I should be good now. No problem. We can only hope. And now that I am alone, I can probably do proper voices. At least try to do better of them. Yeah, when I moved, I now have neighbors under me and around me and above me, so I had to have a certain level of voice that I'm not used to. Sorry. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian... No way. Not the cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to your knife you used at the dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your Hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying that it really was her? Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Cordia. But why? I thought she was both with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the end of the trial is over. I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial is over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like the spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer, dude? Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews, the dependent on Miss Impact's has her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It seems like she left a suicide note, and that person thought to have hidden it is Juan Cordia, the victim of the murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Cordia. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about the relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impact. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still in command. He's still the one in command of the ship. Don't let your guard down yet. We are all walking through this main strap. Court will now reconvene. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, if you would please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Juan Cordia's room. I gave him the wrong voice. Can you stop flipping that like? What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Mattengard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yeah, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossip Land. The judge was ever a prosecution witness. He'd be due all the way for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could tell us about your relationship to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Cordia. I was also aware of the rivalry that exists between Matt and Juan, but this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter. What was that bait and fry? It must be the fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I am. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. Give me a second, sorry. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And then there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of the crime. I just disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints in the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she is the brains of the match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who will easily turn off by inconsistent her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over, understand? I mean, I see an issue right now. Because last time I checked... Yeah, I mean, it is juice. Okay, well, I guess I shouldn't specify, so... I'll go fuck myself. I noticed I also still only have one life bar. Very fun. And what was Mr. Engard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. Engard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? What are you... Alright. I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence of the subject, then I'll make one for you. What? Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Guard's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object, right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture, one was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim? Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions at the time. I can't get her to talk about that strong piece of events, I guess. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to this room? You were in shock. What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person. And despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Cordia. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. But you don't see shit! This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar he was like this too. Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next? Witness? I feel as though I was about to faint, so pour myself a glass of juice. Okay, I'm going to risk it all and bring up the fact that the glass of juice was already in the crime photo. I'm wrong. I'm stupid, I'm silly, I'm stupid. Another guilty verdict for me. Because it's already in the photo, you know? Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. Well, you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left in the wine glass to suggest anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I'd like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Cordia, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's just kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Flower vase? You're talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo. This massive glass shards. It was really on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another other mess. Looks like another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to the testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Well, let's add that part there. What kind of flower vase was it? It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse, so I set the glass where I was holding down on the dresser. And that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she would like people to think. Always mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. Well, it has something to do with the flower vase. Wait a minute. So this says right here that there's water, but only on the top of the lid. It's this, right? You testify that you knocked the flower vase over. This is correct. Yes. And you are sure it fell onto the guitar case. Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's just a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what's so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that were true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. It's very true. Furthermore, there's one other strange thing about this guitar case. What is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards should be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, right? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No, think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She didn't implicitly say that she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter of the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar wasn't found in the studio. There's no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case still doesn't have no relation to this case, doesn't it? It seems there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright? Do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? Yes! The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this. But it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along. For now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. Wait, we're getting a new whole testimony about this? I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not that big a deal though, right? The case is empty after all. As for I opened the case, even I don't know. Looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now, it's almost comforting. Anyways, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using anyways to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. Bro! Get nice to me! During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see, are you sure that you were the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should enter or not. Sounds like her defendant said it's taking over. Well, Miss Andrews? Yes, it was me. So, you opened the guitar case? Yes, well, maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Miss Cordy's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would call for is help, not opening a guitar case. As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back to on topic. Yeah, no, why would you care about that, huh? It's not a big deal. Yeah. Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The broken guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you'd just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. Yeah, that was kind of stupid on him. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. I'm not going to get anywhere if I could continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. Guess we could give it a try. Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now. I wasn't planning on letting up, but she's out of weakness now, so this is our chance. Yeah, we had a weapon with her. I'm sure a weapon is hiding in the sworn in the court record, waiting to be found. I only have one chance. So what am I looking for? So you opened it, then. Shut up. Alright, I'm gonna snooze these ads real quick. Hold on. Opened the guitar case after you shattered the vase. but it doesn't have your fingerprints on it. You're lying. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why do you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Watson. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Ah. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because... You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was the night of the war ceremony. So of course I dressed up for the occasion. What? Yes, now that I remember, I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. Let's see. Wait a minute. You couldn't have been wearing gloves. We just discovered your fingerprints. You were wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove that I wasn't not wearing gloves at the time? Yeah, you said you sat this ding down. I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself the glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? How'd you do that? Order. Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. Huh? What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role in this here. Does it? This is an empty case. I wonder if it really is just empty, though. But the guitar. The Bribed guitar was with the studio. Phoenix, drop all your presumptions. What was in the guitar case that was... What was in the guitar case was not the Bribed guitar. You don't mean... It was a bright white guitar? No, that's not right either. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case... Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lulls all into misguided... No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. Which means the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, right? Then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please enlighten us as why the guitar case has anything to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? I have to say, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. Well, let's suppose for a second that the Bribed guitar was not the only thing that could be in the case. The Bribed guitar not being the only thing. You don't mean to suggest that a bright black... So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that right? I wouldn't say something that I didn't try to prove. Deflate that head, big head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have at it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? Snooze ads, hold on. Okay, so after the murder, right? Scale samurai costume. So if we're assuming that Adrian is the murderer, this is taken after the murder. So, and Miss Winbag was waiting for Adrian because of the scandal. So in goes Adrian, out comes the Seal Samurai. Does this work? Is it the photo? This is a photograph. Yes, but what's important is it was in the picture, Your Honor. In this picture, it doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is, inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. But that theory kind of dies out because, like, why would Juan have that though? What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Are you saying that the witness... Right. Are you saying that the witness opened a guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to do something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Me too, honestly. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was strung for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Yeah! Order. Looks like we're wandered into another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. Yeah, honestly, I hate that about you. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. But wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Guard's. Why would something of the defendants be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places? True. This is a little baffling. That's what I'm saying! Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What is this Nickel Samurai costume doing to inside the guitar case? Well, Guard's wearing it currently, so it has to be a spare. Mr. Guard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we were talking about was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gateway Hotel? Yes, that is what I am saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean the victim himself had brought the spares to the ceremony on purpose. I'm with them on this one. But why? The victim, Mr. Cordy, was the Jammin Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai's spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? And therein lies the sticking point. This piece of shit. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? You've just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had Nickel Samurai's spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? To be honest with you, I don't think so. Think carefully before you answer. I'm Augusto, I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought Nickel Samurai's spare costume to the hotel was... Okay, So bear with me, right? The Nickel Samurai, quote unquote. So we're two doubles. Nickel Samurai had to confess something. Now, it was last stream, but our client, he said he had no idea about this presentation conference. If we were to assume, maybe okay. It kind of adds up, right? There was, quote unquote, too much evidence. They all lined up. Steel Samurai walked out. Person's murdered. We're going to assume that Adrian was going to go on stage and admit to the murder. There's an ad break, so I'm not on. I think I'm finally starting to connect the dots on this one. I hope. We're gonna go with this one. What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. Press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Engard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, I can only mean one thing. The conference was set up, but none other than the victim, Mr. One-Cordy himself. The victim? What? 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 Yes. The Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Cordy was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. I'm lost. He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference. But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet, however. What I am concerned about right now is what he intended to reveal at the conference. The Nickel Samurai is going to confess something. And by confess, I wager he's going to reveal something about himself. Which means that one Cordia, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt and Guard. What does that have to do with her? So, I'm sure you're listening to my theory just now earlier about how it was Adrian in the costume. What the fuck do you mean Matt had the costume? I mean, not Matt, Juan had the costume. Yes, I guess that is what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's a public disclosure. Miss Andrews? I can see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. Okay, listen. I know Andrews and Cordia, they had this fucking affair going on. But what the fuck is going on? I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for was him. That was also me. You. Juan had to bet everything on the J-Man Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure that Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyways. Are you telling me that he was going to make a conference pretending to be both the Jammin' Ninja and the Steel Nickel Samurai? He was going to ruin him, huh? It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? What? And do you know what the secret of Mr. Engard's is, Miss Andrews? That's something only one knew. I don't know what it is. I see. I've probably been coming off suspicious to everyone. You have! That's what we expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all. Protect Mr. Engard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. What the fuck is going on? From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. No! Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I thought I had to protect him. No? Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than the scared rabbit. The defense can find no fault of the testimony. I am ready to make a rule. Please keep in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright. Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this internal logic upside down. Also, I caught something there. Would you say that it was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods with reasoning of your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3? A motive, an opportunity to commit crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things are true, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have known that already, Phoenix. They didn't teach us this in school, at least not from what I remember. May I continue now? Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. Why? So what would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event in that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt Engard. And you knew this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews? Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. Engard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here is that the information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree, Miss Andrews. Please correct your testimony, if you please. We're asking us straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? I mean, yeah. It says, Mr. Engard done something to hurt you or betray you personally. Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Cordier with this press conference. And that event was supposed to bring the Mr. Engard, yet you still helped out. That is your client, that's right. The person on trial right now is Mr. Engard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none other than our concern. In any rare case, that means the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? He was sleeping. But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Engard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that too was a lie so you could cover Mr. Engard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, I cannot say. I was busy setting up the stage at the time. I keep trying. but can find no flaws with what Mr. Andrews said. I can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however. The judge is glaring straight at me. He's glaring at you, smart guy. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprint on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and the murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the gym ninja's costume. You're talking about this button, correct? That button was found in the pleats of Matt's hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. Eric, looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness me can still look at me. And I can stare, yes. Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. Fun fact! I don't think that matters. And how do you know that? When the end of the threads on the button and costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly, or so I heard. I've heard that before too. But why does Miss Andrews know about that case into such fine detail? Don't look at me like that. Just because I'm prepared and you're not. Ugh. And I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. But where and what? So, I don't think that part mattered, because where to go? Where to go? It changed. 5.5 hours remain? You're so right. So, the button was turned off. Fight with Matt. Wrong one. There's a slight glaring issue with her problem. That man was strangled to death. Not stabbed. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? I did it. I pressed the button to kill him. Incorrect. There is no button to kill. The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume after the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it is impossible that this button was turned off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. Oh, I see. Ignore my confession then? I had the wrong murder in mind? Where were you? Where were you at October 15th at, let me check, 6:25 p.m.? That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during this struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body. Not killing someone? Like a story. Order. What is the meaning? What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off of the body after the victim already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose does that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not turned off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the victim had something in mind, murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it? to pin the crime. There's only one logical reason to doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Engard. There's no way anyone would have put a bloody button into their own pants. That's right. Mr. Engard was set up by the real killer, of course. Killing a man because his cufflinks were too fly? So real. And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer is that fucking woman! Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you. I choose you. You are Mr. Cordia's killer. What? Order. Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. Preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. Have you do that? Don't worry about it. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he'd already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion to Mr. Engard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. The room that you were in. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Tisk. How many glasses do you have, woman? Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's coma? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Engard was the real killer, there's no way he would have placed such incriminating evidence in his own hakama. She's like me for real, 20 glasses? Stop! The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Engard's hakama is the person who went to wake him up from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty car case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. The real costumes was used to hide the real killer's identity as she fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was such a costume inside the car case? It could have only been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the good car case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. And that's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out she took the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on that glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic days discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe that Nickel Samurai is Mr. Engard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. Hello? What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. So you admit that this is... Yes, you are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Engard's room, Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? Alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if everything looks bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, right? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize that this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to prove a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Miss Cordia. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Cordia? I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting to your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No, she's taking the defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation. I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is actually the murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof. But that's not true. I'm expecting a choice here, and I'm going to save. But that's not true. In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both prosecution and defense look further into this matter, and that tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow? We can't do it tomorrow! Maya will die! If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial... Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is... It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic on conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that's very true, but... Actually, there's one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and I can't help but think about how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they're shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. And whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Idris today, but I can't get a good read on him. Is he a friend or a foe? I just don't know. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. I need to remind you all that I still only have 1 bar of life left. That glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and looking tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, I thought he was dead. The thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something. So I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. So, are we ignoring the knife? Are we ignoring the life? So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong in this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, let me begin your cross-examination. So, she said she poured it for the guy, then you know she's dead. What about the fucking knife in his chest? But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there's a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed to you? In other words, Wright, be quiet and listen. Precisely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Ugh. So it was a mess. Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight, Mr. Cordy? I understand your frustrations at not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then what did you see next, witness? Slumped over. Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, his eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. Is it just me, or did that right there sound a little odd? I'm sorry, go back. Then what did cross your mind? Oh, I need to go back. First of all, I'm sitting right here. I feel like that's the answer. Then what did cross your mind? I thought that maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix, and then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought. I see, so you didn't think he was dead at all. You thought he fainted. I thought he was asleep at first, but then, when he was in a messy state, I thought maybe he had gotten in a fight with someone, and that's when he went to pour the glass of juice. Yes, he always has a hard time waking up, so Juan always has to drink tomato juice. So Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink. I'm excited for that. When I realized he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. And how did you come to realize that he was in fact dead? I shook him over and over and got never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backwards. And knocked over the flower vase over. So that's what happened. Yes. This is all what it comes down to. Huh? This is the absolute end for both sides. And Adrian is not letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is the best chance to kill the prosecution's case. Isn't that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell the truth this time? Is it this one? No. What about the fucking knife? Alright. Let's just get that out of the way. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body? A fucking knife wound? Ah! What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There is a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Cordia's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that he was a dead man. Well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world will mistake this for someone who had fainted, and then so nonchalantly blow a person in the drain. Your point is? Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing really clearly. That you are the real killer. Oh. It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Ungard, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt. I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so is that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because... Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. Bro, you're going to jail! Then there's no need for the court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ungard's innocence has clearly been demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, let the hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Ungard. Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass on a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak about the absolute real truth. Dog, we are dragging this woman through the mud, bro. The absolute truth. What are you... Witness? Don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Ungard will go free. And in this place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke then it would be all over. And then Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? She lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Francisco Von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly on the words of another. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lightsaber by Miss Von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Ungard will be acquitted. And Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across something like this. I'm sorry, is she not the killer? All I do now is get her not guilty. That's my only priority. It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Oh, please, someone. Help me. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind in this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except that woman crying over there, right? Now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix, right? I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you're really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. Engard will get an acquittal. But in this place, you'd be found guilty. Is this really how you want? Is this how you really want this trial to end? But quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense theory is the truth. You're wrong. What a shame. I had hoped that things wouldn't come to this. However, what is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. So stop. Mr. Edgeworth. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. So stop, please stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have this evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. Well, you do know, witness. You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about her scares her more than anything else in the world. Please stop, I beg you. If people find out, I'll... You're going to say you would choose death? That is no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die... My throat is killing me right now. I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. Damn! When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure that there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed Juan's body with the knife and ripped the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. Stab the body with the knife? Why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? There's a pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What? What do you mean by all of this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but... this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again. Just like last time. Last time? So Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, John Cordia, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with the murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt Engard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews really the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. What crime did Matt commit? What are we talking about here? But you could tell from the state Luna was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say you didn't know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck. But that scarf's part of Jim and his costume, so... I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also done a bit so I couldn't see his face. So I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to the Port of the Juice. He had a knife in his chest! Bro, I didn't realize how strong these straws were. Me neither, but I'm okay with this. I knew right away the murder was Matt. I knew because, one, he was going to expose Matt's weakness point to the world. So Matt does the stop one and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. That was so we can get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. So you were the one that stabbed the victim with the knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. Ads? I need a drink. I need a fucking drink. I'm being thrown for a loop here, that's for damn sure. Alright. Ad break is over. Give me 1 second before I continue. Alright. But at the time I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even worse suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in guard's Hamakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Name it. An inconvenience. There was a woman with the camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Lullaby for you. I'd already been caught and made myself into a big scoop for a weekly tabloid once. So I couldn't very well go looking like myself and get caught again. That's why I ended up using the Nico Samurai costume. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes. Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. And what is the secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the customer's costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So after that, we went back to the guard's room and planted the button. To Matt's comma, yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. But my word, what does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt and Guard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, As long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she's not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor. The defense still... Shut up, bitch! Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of the witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish the witness as the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Mr. Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for a detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today. Today's trial is over. I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. That card in your hand. It had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember it at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright, I remember it just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered one's body. It was lying there right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body. I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card's any relevance to the one's murdered, right? Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card, if you ask me. Didn't Maya see that card earlier? But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why. Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly, inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid from this from me all this time. I didn't mean to. What is this all about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card. What in the world is it? And what does it mean? Damn! There's still more to this case? Okay. In fairness, this is the final case of this game, so that's fair. There's another investigation? You're fucking with me. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. It's 7 o'clock. I need time to prepare for the second stream at midnight. Also, it's been 3 hours, which is normally my quote-unquote limit for streams, just to avoid just making myself drag out. I was feeling myself drag out earlier, because if you were noticing the voices I was doing were starting to meld together. I apologize for that. But I need to stop here. So that is the end of today's stream. Well, that is the end of the first stream. I will be streaming again at midnight because Pokemon ZA is coming out midnight and I want to play it and show my friends the game. So, with that being said, I'm going to see if there's someone I can raid into. And then I'm going to end stream. And I will see all of you later. Okay, we're going to raid into this person. I have never really spoken to them before, but I'm going to raid into them regardless. Again, I'll see all of you later, and I hope you have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you later tonight. Have a good one, everyone.